One Piece chapter 1111, it is titled Sunshield. In the last chapter, we saw the Gorosei finally arrived and they got down to business. They were trying their best to handle the situation that had unfortunately gotten out of control at Egghead. In this chapter, we got to see more of the Gorosei, specifically Mars, Warcury, and Saturn, an update on the Straw Hats locations, Luffy, Dory, and Brogy trying to escape, and the chapter ends with an apology from the Ancient Giant. Really good stuff. And as you guys know, we will be on break for 3 weeks. It's unfortunate, but I hope that Oda gets to enjoy his break. But if you guys enjoy regular breakdowns like these, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. With that, minus potential unleashed, and let's get into chapter 1111's breakdown. We got a colored cover page this week. It was a request. The Straw Hats strolling through the deep sea using jellyfish umbrellas. I really like this one because it was really colorful and vibrant. Also, Luffy, him stuffing his face with fries is hilarious because it's like, bro, nobody's gonna take it from you. You can slow down. Mars has entered the lava stratum and he is above Jinbei, who notices his intense haki, which based off what happens later in the chapter, all 5 of the Gorosei, they likely have conquerors. But because of his haki, Jinbei, he heads towards Zoro and he informs him that it's time for them to go. However, Zoro, he says not yet because Lucci is still standing and he has a nasty scar on him. And I've seen so many people say that it looks like Zoro put him on the grill. I think that's hilarious, but the scar that Zoro gave him, it is deep and it will remain. Jinbei grabs Zoro and he mentions twice that he had already won the fight and shoots a 5,000 brick chop towards Lucci as sort of like a smoke screen that allows them to escape, where Lucci, he then reverts back to his human form. A detail that I want to highlight because of the nature of the damage that Zoro he dealt to Lucci, it comes from the Usopp Pirate Galleries in volume 78. It states, and it is a reference to Zoro, the intense spirit of fierce beast leaping out from the sword. Cool, isn't it? It's a reference to how strong Zoro's attacks are. Mars links up with Lucci, who gives him an update on the situation about York's location, some of the Straw Hats, about the 85 CP agents, and then the Seraphim that they're in the basement, and that there is 6 minutes left until Vegapunk's broadcast starts. We know that Saturn, he stated that York's safety, the Punk records, and the power plant, those are the 3 things that must remain. And with the Straw Hats focusing on escaping, that means that York, she is no longer, I guess she's technically still their captive, but nobody's there to watch her. So if Mars is able to meet up with her, that would mean that one of the 3 goals that they set at the beginning has been achieved. I also wonder if Mars is going to free the Seraphim as he is in close proximity to them. Then there's Kaku, who Lucci surprisingly asks to be saved. And the reason why I say surprisingly, because Lucci, he is the type of man that constantly talks about people being killed and appearing heartless. It's kind of weird that Lucci, he's caring for Kaku in this situation. But I guess to be fair, they've been through a lot together working at the ship company in Water 7, a part of CP9, and then CP0. And if you look in SBS 44, Oda drew Lucci with Hattori, who is his dove, with an olive branch which symbolizes peace. So maybe Rob Lucci isn't as heartless as we all thought. I do want to mention that Mars, in response to Lucci's comment, says that one does not attempt to step on insects, it simply happens. This is implying that Kaku's not worth searching for while the Gorosei are destroying Egghead. So if he gets caught in the crossfire, then so be it. This reminds me of what Saturn said in chapter 1103. I think he was referencing either Bonnie or Jenny. I don't know what the Gorosei's thing is with insects. I guess they're in love with them. But after hearing this, I wonder if Lucci's new mission will be to go and save Kaku. Dory and Brogy, they claim that they tell tales about the sun god in Elbaf in his form, which is true. We've known this for a long time. They also mentioned that the Gorosei, they look like the beast in the jungles of Elbaf, but now they have Luffy they are headed to escape. However, Warcury, he sets off a conquerors haki roar, and this takes me back to what Kaido said about conquerors after defeating Luffy. He mentioned we don't need any more conquerors. Now, whether he was referring to needing them on the sea in general or needed them on his crew, since he takes prisoners, breaks their spirits until they submit, I wonder how strong Imu is to make the 5 Gorosei submit to him, because we saw what happened when all of these conquerors were under one ship in the rocks parts and how they disbanded. I also found it funny that because of this roar, Luffy's clothes, eyes, and scarves flew off his body and he had to place them back in their proper position. As I mentioned in my Gorosei ability video, which I will leave that in the description below, you guys should definitely watch it. The Fang Sea uses their strong tusk in order to attack. Oda made Warcury attack with tusks that changed into blades. However, the giants blocked the attack with a Savalian sun shield, and some context behind the Savalian, it is a legendary shield in Nordic mythology that stands in front of the sun. Dory and Brogy, they are using their shields in order to protect the sun god. Saturn, he's still here. He's trying to attack Luffy and the giants. However, Luffy grabs a tree, trims it down, and turns it into a baseball bat and hits the attack back at Saturn and Warcury, which it then explodes. And this reminds me of an attack that Magellan he did during Impel Down. After all this, reading this chapter, I'm starting to think Oda pays a little bit more attention to the community than I originally thought, because Luffy, he painted the bat black, and we know the agenda that people are going to push, talking about Mihawk, talking about black blades. It's gonna be interesting. But after this, Luffy, he states that it is imperative for them to get out because the Gorosei, they are immortal, and we see Warcury, Jupiter, and Saturn start to regenerate. These Straw Hats, they are headed to the ships and trying to escape. However, some Vice Admirals are standing in their way, which includes Red King, Guillotine, and Palm Sky. They're in front of the giant ship. So I wonder if, because Bonnie, Frankie, and Sanji are headed in that direction, if they will end up fighting those Vice Admirals. Mars was able to reach York, and there was also an interesting line from Kizaru. He mentioned that he's deeply wounded and wants to rest, and this is because he had to kill one of his old friends, which plays into his unclear justice, as he is unclear of what he should do, unlike Aokiji and Akainu. The chapter, it ends with the ancient robot surfacing and claiming to apologize to Joyboy. We know that the robot attacked Mary Joa about 200 years ago, which was around the same time that the Fishman discrimination was an issue, and that the Fishman Kingdom joined the world government 200 years ago, according to Hachi in chapter 620. We know that the poneglyph that was located at Fishman Island, it was said to be an apology for breaking a promise that Joyboy made with Fishman Island, and that the details of the promise isn't clear, but one day an individual will appear to fulfill the promise in Joyboy's place. Is that individual the ancient robot, or is it supposed to be Luffy, who's the current version of Joyboy? I also saw a theory that Joyboy, he has a crew that was similar to Luffy's, and that this ancient robot was a part of his crew and would be the Frankie of Joyboy's crew, so maybe he's apologizing for he wasn't able to protect something. I'm not entirely sure. But that's it for chapter 1111. Like I mentioned earlier, we will be on break for 3 weeks, so we will not be getting any new chapters for One Piece for a while, but don't worry, I will still be posting different content. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. It's on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.